Bridget sits and watches out the window. She never tires of it. Every now and then she sniffs delicately at her wrist. She will stay up until Tom and Karen go to bed, until they are safely tucked in and all their lights are out. Her husband, Bob, has been home briefly for dinner, but he's gone out again tonight for another function. That's every night this week. She wonders if it's really all work or whether he's seeing someone on the side. She finds she doesn't really care. Still, she's simmering with rage beneath her cool white skin, the cool white skin that he hasn't touched in weeks, and they're supposed to be trying to have a baby. Sometimes she hates Bob. Sometimes she hates her life and everybody in it, except there aren't that many people in her life anymore. She's let a lot of things drop, except for her knitting bog and the Krupps. Mostly, Bridget keeps an eye on Karen and Tom. She would like to be someone else in some other life. That's what she'd really like. She's slightly surprised to realize that what she wants most in this world isn't, after all, to be pregnant at last with Bob's baby. She's wanted that for so long that the wishing for it, the fantasizing about it has become automatic. How refreshing to realize that she actually earnestly wants something else for a change. That she would actually like to be someone else in another life entirely. Someone with a handsome, caring husband, a husband who pays attention, who comes home every night, someone who would make her feel special and take her to Europe and kiss her at odd moments for no reason and look at her the way Tom looks at Karen. She puts her knitting down. She hasn't been able to resist the pull of the Krupps' house. She can't help sneaking into their house across the street sometimes and being there alone, imagining herself living there with Tom, lying in their bed, going through Karen's things, going through Tom's things, holding Tom's clothes to her face and smelling them. She even took an old t-shirt of Tom's from his drawer and hid it at home. Trying on Karen's clothes in front of her mirror, using her lipstick, her perfume, pretending that she's Tom's wife. It's easy to do. She has a key. Tom had given her one during their brief affair, and she'd secretly made a copy before she returned it. She could take the path alongside the Krupps' house that leads to the park beyond, and as long as there's no one looking, she can sneak in the unlocked gate and go in through the back door with no one else to see her do it. She'd left the glass on the counter that day. She's really never stopped wanting Tom. It's just a question of what she's willing to do to get him back. This hits her rather hard as she holds her breath for a second. Lately, she hasn't been able to stop thinking about what they were like together back when they were lovers. They had some serious chemistry, and Tom was such a pleasure to seduce, so eager to try new things, so willing to follow her lead. How perfect it all was before he broke it off with her and started seeing Karen instead. He hadn't been comfortable with the fact that she was married, but he'd swallow her flirtatious little lie and been happy to sleep with her anyway. That changed when he learned the truth. He dumped her. God, how it hurt. She'd made things difficult for him for a while. She couldn't help it. She felt so out of control. Bob had no idea what was going on, but he could see how upset and unhappy she was. He insisted she see someone. Eventually she adjusted. She even been able to agree with Tom, quite civilly, she thought, not to tell anyone about their affair. They've kept it a secret from Karen all this time. Oh, all the times Bridget had wanted to tell her over coffee about what she and Tom had done together. Now Bridget recalls the electricity that went through her body the other night when she touched Tom's arm. She's sure he felt it too, that intense sexual energy that they'd shared flaring up again. Surely that's why he stepped away from her so quickly. He can't admit he still has feelings for her. He's married now. He's too decent a man for that. But she's sure those feelings he had for her are still there. She wonders if he's getting tired of Karen by now. She's picked up on the tension between them. Bridget knows that Karen thinks of her as her best friend, even though Karen doesn't know how to be a very good friend sometimes. Karen has disappointed her again and again. It's hard to think of Karen the same way now, after everything that's happened. After all she's put Tom through. Especially since Bridget's realized that she might be able to get Tom for herself. Karen's not her friend, she's her rival. She's always been her rival. A whole world seems to be opening up before Bridget, a new future unfurling. Bridget has sat in the spot by the window these last few days, avidly following the goings-on across the street. She knows Karen's in deep trouble. Maybe soon the police will arrest her for murder, and then Tom will be alone and understandably shattered. He'll be doubting Karen and everything they had together, and Bridget will be there helping him pick up the pieces, nudging him in the right direction, away from Karen toward her. There will be more of that electricity between them, she's sure of it, and he won't be able to resist coming back to her. They were meant to be together. Everything happens for a reason. She'll leave Bob, he'll probably barely notice, and she'll move in across the street. She'll have everything she's ever wanted. Karen's beautifully decorated home, her smart clothes. As luck would have it, they're the same size. Her handsome, attentive husband. She suspects Tom has a good sperm count too, unlike her useless husband, Bob. Bridget's heart flutters at the prospect of her future as she watches the lights across the street. That night, Tom lies awake, unable to sleep. Karen is moving around fitfully in the bed. It wasn't until that overwrought moment in the bathroom with Karen screaming at him that he really began to understand what she must have been through and what it must have done to her. For the first time, he realized that there are whole parts of her that he's never had any access to. Dark, angry parts of her, and a grim history that she'll never share fully with him. He now knows the broad outlines of how she lived, but he doesn't know all the ugly details. This sudden glimpse into her, into the darkness of the heart of her past, has shaken him badly. She isn't the woman he thought she was. She's much tougher, much harder, and much more damaged than he ever suspected. She's not the woman he fell in love with. The woman he fell in love with, Karen Fairfield, was a mirage. He never knew Georgina Trainor. If he had, would he have fallen in love with her? Would he have been man enough to fall in love with a woman with her kind of baggage? Or would he have stayed the hell away? He likes to think he would have fallen in love with her just the same, and taken her safely away from all that. But the lies, he's not sure he can get past the lies. Yes, Karen had her excellent reasons for what she did, but she lied to him. Her wedding vows were a lie, and he's sure she would have kept lying to him if the police hadn't tripped her up. That's what's bothering him. The question he keeps asking himself is, if she hadn't had the accident that night, if she'd managed to calm herself down and come home, would she have made up some story about a friend calling her with an emergency? A story he wouldn't have questioned? Would she have gone to bed with him that night and lain beside him, knowing that she'd shot a man dead, with him never being any the wiser? Because Tom doesn't believe she was capable of killing her former husband. He's sure now, after that outburst in the bathroom, that she is capable of it. If things had gone just a little differently, he might have continued in this happy, ignorant bubble, unaware of her crime. But he can't ignore it now. And the one other thing you can't forget, the gloves. She took the gloves with her. Tom is certain that she intended to kill her former husband. Or why take the gloves? There's no doubt in his mind about that. As far as the law is concerned, he's pretty sure she's guilty. Whether he can live with that or not, the jury's still out.